Heather, and I'm currently a children's pastor in Roscoe, Illinois, and I've been at Life Church for about 8 months now, and God has a funny sense of humor from moving me from Florida to Illinois, but I love it there, and I have an incredible senior pastor that I get to serve with, who has a huge vision for discipleship within the church, and also discipleship with helping other churches and training future kids pastors and youth pastors. And so we partner with Segu University, and so I get to help train future kids pastors, and I absolutely love it. I had been invited to Connext a few months ago, but didn't know if I actually would be able to make it until about a week ago. And I have been so blessed and grateful that God has allowed me the opportunity to be here, because I have learned from each and every one of you guys just from being up, from hearing you guys, and I've been updating Facebook, so my team's been growing too, and it's been awesome. I was starting to think about and pray about what God might have me share, and I was going one direction, and I just really felt God lead me in a different direction. And the thing I wanted to share that was really impressed on my heart was to share the importance of remembering the little things in the scope of volunteers in your personal life and in ministry. There is a place that I absolutely love going to. It's a place that I've been to many, many times, and I've actually been kicked out of this place. But it is like one of the most magical places in the world. Can anybody guess what place that might be? Disney World. You guys are right. I have been kicked out of Disney World. And so, but when I was thinking of a place that values the little things and the importance of the little things, my mind always goes back to Disney. I remember times of going to the park, and even the trash cans match the theme of what area it is. To going to a kids conference down in Florida, and the butter that they served with the rolls was in the shape of Mickey Mouse. To being in my hotel room and having a scavenger hunt trying to find all the little hidden Mickeys within my hotel room. And so Disney values the little things. And Disney has a principle that every member of the cast, every cast member there learns. And it's something that makes it the most magical place in the world. It's not the magic that makes it work, it's the way that we work that makes it magic. Now, some of you guys are probably sitting there going, okay, Heather, how did you seem really quiet, how did you be the person that gets kicked out of Disney? Well, here's what happened. My lifelong dream has always been to see Disney at Christmas, and with living in Florida, I wanted to check something off of my bucket list, and so a group of my friends and I, we went and bought a day pass for Disney. But around Christmas time, you actually have to buy 2 passes. You have to buy the day pass, and then you have to buy the nighttime experience. And so we went, and we experienced the day, and it was awesome, seeing all the Christmas decorations and taking pictures with all the characters. And we decided to go around like 6 o'clock. Our tickets expired at 8, so we were like, all right. So 6 o'clock, we decided to go into the Beauty and the Beast castle, which if you have ever been to Disney or you want to go to Disney, you have to experience eating at the Beauty and the Beast castle, because it is amazing. Just the experience, walking into it, it was awesome. And so they even have the gray stuff, and it really is delicious. And so we went to the Beauty and the Beast castle, and it's a sit-down dinner, and we got there at 6 o'clock, and by the time we finished our dinner and finished taking pictures with the Beast, because he came out and kind of greeted us at our table, it was about 8:30, 9 o'clock-ish, and so our tickets had expired. And so we sat there and we were like, all right, we need to leave because we didn't pay and all this stuff. And we also were driving back to West Palm, which was like 3.5 hours away. And so we were getting ready to head out of the castle. And we were stopped. And it was one of the cast members that was like, hey, are you staying for the Very Merry Christmas Party? I don't see your wristband. And it's something that in that moment could have ruined our whole day at Disney. And it didn't. Because the way that they handled it, the way that they did the little things and how they approached it was magical. Frozen was the theme of Disney last year, and so at Christmas, they did a whole Frozen thing. So they created their cast members. They started talking about how they were going to turn us into snowballs, and we were going to all pile up together, and they were going to flurry us on out. And the way that the security person ended up escorting us out within a minute, we made it through the park in a minute, and so out of the gates was magical. They created a special memory from something that could have, if somebody handled it wrong, been something totally awful and ruined Disney and made me never want to go back. But it wasn't. It actually makes me want to go back again and spend the extra $100 to stay for the Very Merry Christmas Party. And it's something that I will never, ever forget. Disney has trained and equipped their people to treat each and every guest with the utmost care and respect, even if they overstay their welcome. Their cast members do that, and they go above and beyond because their leaders who are working with them actually treat them with care and respect. The formula is simple. Committed, responsible, and inspiring leaders create a culture of care, which leads to quality service, which leads to satisfaction, which leads to an increase in opportunities to be involved in people's lives. As kids pastors, we have to be really careful to not get so caught up in doing ministry that we miss the mark. My goal as a kids pastor is to pour into my team and care for my volunteers so that in return they don't feel like they're just joining the kids team because we need them to, or we need them to check off volunteer hours or different things like that. My goal as a kids pastor is wanting them to make the choice to choose to be a part of the kids team because they feel valued and they feel that they can grow in the calling that God has placed on their lives. I want to be known as a kids pastor that will rave for my kids team. And I want my team to also rave for the other team members, which is respect, appreciate, and value everyone. Because if we rave for our team, they'll rave for the other team members, and then they'll rave for the kids, and they'll rave for the families. They'll respect them, they'll appreciate them, and they'll value everyone. So how do we do that? Well, for me, it's the little things. It's getting to know the people on my team, where they're at. It's getting to know their names. It's getting to know their families. It's engaging with them on a personal level and getting to know them and helping them see that the importance of what they're doing is actually making a difference. Everyone on our kids team knows that they matter and what they do matters, and that it's transforming kids' lives and it's transforming families' lives. Whether they're welcoming a new family for greeting at the door, opening up the doors, they're making a huge impact because within the first 7 minutes of going into a place, you kind of have in your mindset if you're going to go there again or not. And so that greeter matters because that greeter is setting the tone for a new family coming in to go and hear from God over in the big service. They matter just as much as the person who's up on stage speaking. And so everybody on our team knows and appreciates everyone else because without each other, we couldn't do it. The volunteers are happy to serve. They're eager to give the best that they know because they know that they're respected, they're appreciated, they're cared for, and they're valued. And that's something that I want to leave with every one of our team members, that they're respected, they're cared for, and they're valued. When your team members feel that way, they begin to not want to leave you because they feel a part of something that's bigger than them. They feel that what they're doing, it plays a huge role, and it really does. And it's also cool because not only do they get to not want to leave you, but they also encourage other people to join because they know that their friend is going to be valued and respected just as much. So how do we as leaders do that? Well, we have to pay attention to our leaders, and we have to help them know that they feel appreciated and valued. How many of you guys have ever heard of the book, The 5 Love Languages? Yeah? Now, a lot of times, that book is used when it comes to like a husband and a wife relationship, or it's used with a parent and a child relationship and getting to know how your spouse or your kids feel appreciated and valued. I actually have brought that into my kids' team. And I ask my kids team, whenever I have a new member join, how do they feel appreciated? How do they feel valued? Because each and every one of us is wired completely different. I know for me, my love language is quality time. So I tend to be the person who always invites somebody to come and do something with me because I like spending time with them. My mom is a gift. My mom feels appreciated and valued if you give her something because in a moment you thought of her and you picked something up for her. Me, I actually, whenever I take the love language test, score a 0 on gifts. I don't like receiving gifts. And so for me, it's not that I don't appreciate it. It's just sometimes I feel awkward whenever somebody gives me a gift. And so I don't necessarily feel valued or appreciated that way. I'd rather sit down and have coffee with someone and do that. And so for my team, I get to know and I ask them, how do you feel valued? Is it quality time? Is it you're the person that I'm going to ask to go to the kids' game with me because we get to spend time together? Is it a gift? I'm going to give you a silly pun once a month or something like that where you guys can have one of those small little gifts in the classroom to help you know that it's how you feel valued. Is it words of affirmation? I'm going to be intentional about sending you a text or sending you an email saying, hey, you did awesome this week. Is it physical touch, giving high fives, giving them a hug, greeting them when they come in? Is it acts of service, going out of your way to help one of your volunteers? And so we've also started doing it by being intentional about sending cards home, sending cards, at least 2 thank you cards a week to volunteers, and being intentional about recognizing something specific that they've done. Not just a general thank you for being a part of the kids team, you're awesome, but actually saying something specific. And I'm helping train my team to be intentional about looking at what other people are doing that they can encourage. Like this past week, we had 2 instances of 2 cards that I actually wrote and sent home. We had one of our guys on our team. He's a young adult. He's in his 20s. I really believe God is calling him to be a future kids pastor someday. But we have an All-Stars program, which is kids with special needs. And we have one of our kids who has Down syndrome, and he came in, and our All-Stars ministry has been growing. We have like 5 kids right now. And so this kid came in, and a couple of our All-Star leaders were busy with a couple of the other kids who needed more one-on-one attention at that time. Well, our leader went and noticed that this kid was off by himself, and so he went. He's not on the All-Star team, but he went over and he just sat down and he started playing with this kid who has Down syndrome and just started loving on him and making him laugh, and it was the sweetest laugh that you would ever hear. And this kid felt valued and loved and respected in that moment because this leader stepped out of the way and went and reached him, even though that wasn't necessarily a kid that he was responsible for watching. And so it's encouraging them and saying, hey, I saw how you made an impact on this kid's life, and you made him laugh, and you made him smile, and you made him realize that God loves him. And so it's being intentional with writing those notes and recognizing what they've done. Another one we sent this week is we actually did a rap-off in Kids Church. And so we did our power verse, we did a rap battle, and so it was pretty cool. We had the lights, and we had somebody come in, and they were doing beatboxing and stuff like that. And so we had a couple of our guys, they came for first service and second service to do the wrap-off. And so they were tired. They were in kids ministry, both services. And one of our kids forgot his take-home paper. And he started crying in his car because he forgot his take-home paper, and he wanted to make sure he was learning the memory verse this week. And so his mom sent me a Facebook message saying, hey, can you send me what the power verse was this week? And the guys were standing there, and I was like, this would be an awesome opportunity for them to realize that the little things really can be the big things. And so I went over to them. I was like, hey, guys, I know you guys are getting ready to head out, but would you mind if you take like 30 seconds and I just video you guys doing the wrap-off that you guys did earlier so we can send it to this kid because he's upset because he left his paper here. And so the guys getting ready to head out, they were hungry, they were tired. They ended up taking 30 extra seconds in their time, and we filmed a special video for this kid and his family, and they gave him a shout out and everything, and they said the power verse and wrapped it off and beatboxed, and we sent it to the parent. And the mom was so blown away by the fact that these guys would do this and go the extra step. It wasn't just saying, okay, here's the verse, but it was something little that we could do to make that family feel valued and feel important. And so it was awesome. And so I ended up writing a note to those guys just saying, hey, thanks for taking an extra 30 minutes and speaking life into this family and letting them realize that they're important by doing that. Another thing that we do, that's a little thing, is we do a lot of intentional follow-up with our new families. And so we have a 3-touch process. If you're a new family that comes to our church, we've implemented 3 touches that you'll get from us during the week to help you realize that you're valued and important and we care about your kids. And so the first day is on Monday, after families come in, we actually will send them an email saying, hey, now that you checked into our kids ministry, here's the next things that you need to know for next week when you come back. You don't have to fill out all the paperwork again. You can come to the self-check-in line, that type of thing. So it gives them a walkthrough of what to do. Next, we send a thank you card to the parents. So the parents will get a thank you card on Tuesday saying, hey, thank you for bringing Johnny to Kids Life. We were so glad that he came. If you guys need anything or have any questions, feel free to let us know. And then the 3rd touch we actually send to the kids. And I didn't bring one with me, and so I tried finding something that could be in its place. But we actually mail each of the kids that come into our kids ministry a beach ball. And so it's a third touch that the kids get, and it's a couple days later because it takes a little bit longer in the mail. But the kids will get a personalized beach ball with their name saying to such and such from such and such. We hope you had a ball in kids' life this week. And so we mail it to the kids, and it's something that is intentionally showing that family, hey, we're going to go above and beyond to care for and appreciate your family and your kids and know that they matter. It's something so small, but it speaks to that, and you have no idea how many families come back and they're blown away because their kid got a blown-up beach ball in the mail. And so it's awesome. The next thing, because I'm running short on time, is to be intentional in our own lives. I've started doing this thing where I actually have a calendar, and it's called a 3-year calendar. And so every day is labeled like October 15th, 2015, October 15th, 2016, October 15th, 2017. And so what I'm doing is intentionally every day going through and writing down a tweet for myself of either something that I'm praying for God to do in my life, something that God's spoken to me, something like that. And it's something that I can go back on and look back and see how God was faithful in the little things. So then whenever I do go through a big thing and I need to realize the little things that God has done, I know he's been faithful in those little things, that he'll be faithful in the big things too. And so before we leave, because I'm running out on time, I'm actually going to give each of you guys, when I get down, just a couple of reminders for you, is to celebrate and remember to rave on your team, because you are one in a million, and so is your team. And so be intentional to help them feel like they are one in a million and their gifts matter, because they truly do, and it is what will help your team. The next thing is a thank you card, to be thankful for the interruptions that sometimes happen and create those moments where you're able to have those interruptions, that sometimes a big thing is going on, but God might do something in such that moment. So be thankful for those little interruptions that God brings you. And the next one is, because I use the journal, is to celebrate and look back at what God has done in your life and be intentional about keeping notes. Facebook's wonderful right now because they've actually created Facebook memories. And so you can go back and see where you were 4 years ago to where God's brought you now.